Hello everyone, Fanta here, and you're watching Fantavision. Today is another episode of Games I Love, and you should too. Today we're going to be discussing the Rare Replay Collection, one of the very few games in the Xbox One that PlayStation or the PC does not have. So it's like one of the only games that can actually say only on Xbox One. I'm trying to think of other ones that have come out this year. Nothing's ringing a bell. But this is definitely a game you need to own if you have an Xbox One. It's not expensive at all. I think the last time I checked it was like 20 bucks. And if it's not 20 bucks right now, it constantly goes on sale for 20 or below. And the thing is there's just so many great games on this one disc, especially if you never got a chance to play even like one or two of these titles from the past. And I'm talking about games like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day's on here. And if you wanted to play Conker's Bad Fur Day, like on the original Xbox or the Nintendo 64, you're looking at somewhere between like a $30 to $60 price tag, depending on what prices are doing these days on those games. But Conker's Bad Fur Day in itself, worth picking this up for. And Banjo-Kazooie, I don't know about you guys, but that was one of my favorite platformers ever on the Nintendo 64. I love the Nintendo 64 because I'm very biased and that was my first console. But if you have not had a chance or you never had a Nintendo 64, this is a must-buy game. It also has Battletoads on it, which is a ton of fun, by the way, if you haven't played it. Very frustrating, I will admit, but it's a lot of fun. Let's just go ahead and go through a couple other games in here I didn't actually talk about. Killer Instinct is on here if you enjoy fighting games. Perfect Dark, another fantastic game. Unfortunately, they couldn't put GoldenEye on this disc just because, I mean, it's a licensed property. You can't just use GoldenEye on one of these kind of packs. Maybe they could have worked it out, but I don't even know who owns that license anymore, which is very unfortunate because that was by far my favorite N64 game. Maybe not favorite. It's in like the top 3, I'll say. Because I know a lot of people are going to get butthurt because I'm not saying Mario or something like that. But that was a game I played a ton of when I was a little kid. I still played occasionally. But Perfect Dark is a good spiritual successor to that game. It just has kind of more futuristic weapons and cool gadgets. I'm just mentioning the games that mean a lot to me. Viva Pinata, okay, well that doesn't really mean a lot to me, but the game's a hell of a lot of fun. Viva Pinata is a game, it's kind of like a management style game, but instead of like having to worry about earning money from like guests or customers or anything like that from a usual sim, you just take care of animals, and then by taking care of those animals, that attracts other animals, and then some animals you use as food to attract other animals, and then you get those animals and you try to kind of section them up. It becomes chaos at some point. I did a lot of gameplays with my buddy Eric a while back, and we're actually, the reason I'm doing this video right now very quickly is because we're going to be streaming Banjo-Kazooie tonight. Now, whether or not Eric joins me is still kind of up in the air, but he's planning to join me, so it'll be a lot of fun tonight. We're going to be doing some Banjo-Kazooie streaming, and we're probably going to keep streaming that game. I'm not saying we're going to, beat it in one night, but we're going to continue to play that game as our main streaming game until we beat it. So that'll be a ton of fun. And then neither of us have played Banjo-Tooie. I mean, I've played the multiplayer, which is a lot of fun. It also kind of reminds me of GoldenEye because it's got that 4-player split screen. You pick up different types of ammo, and the birds just make hilarious noises because your gun is a bird, and it makes just the best noises when you shoot them. Yeah, so that's fantastic. And then a game I actually haven't played yet, but I've been wanting to, is Cameo Elements of Power, because it's one of those early Xbox 360 game releases that I kept seeing on the store shelves, but I never picked it up because I was just so confused as to what the game is. And I'm honestly still not 100% sure what it is. Also, Grabbed by the Ghoulies is kind of an Xbox original staple game that I always saw. I know it was on other systems as well, but I always saw it in the Xbox original for some reason. And it just has that cover art that again made me question what the hell is this game, and I need to give that a shot. I mean, I've owned this for a while now, and I still haven't gotten to all the different games because there's 30 games on this disc, and it's only 20 bucks. Like, that's crazy. I remember they re-released Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie HD editions on the Xbox Arcade or whatever back on the 360, and those were, I think, 10 bucks each. So you get both of those games, that's already your 20 bucks, and then you get all of these other games included as well. Blast Corps is another cool game where you basically just destroy stuff, and that's it. Like, the key goal of the game is to destroy stuff. And I don't know about you, but I like blowing stuff up. And that's also another game that is pretty expensive on the Nintendo 64, and I haven't seen out in the wild, and I game hunt a lot, so that's kind of crazy. Of course, Conker's Bad Fur Day. I never played Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Okay, now I'm not really talking about games that mean a lot to me, but are games that I'm just kind of curious about. But Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, I know a lot of people really hated because it's like, you build vehicles? Like, it has nothing to do with what Banjo-Kazooie was about and the first and second game on the Nintendo 64. So I'm sure a lot of people just kind of got pissed because, why are you making this game like this? This isn't really Banjo-Kazooie. This isn't the spirit of the game. Why are you doing this to the franchise? But I want to get at least, give it a shot at some point. And Battletoads Arcade is pretty cool. That was a lot of fun. I think that was like the really bloody one. It's like a side-scrolling fighter game. And I remember decapitating rats. I could be remembering wrong, but I remember just blood everywhere and being kind of shocked about how violent the game really was. And there's a lot of other games on here, older games that I didn't really have the chance to play yet. I don't really know much about, so I'm not going to start talking about them. But it's just a crazy value for how many games you get and for the games that are on here. Like, they're high quality games. It's not like just a bunch of shovelware shoved onto a disc. So highly recommend the Rare Replay Collection, especially if you're looking for something to play on the Xbox One while you're waiting for something to come out for the system. And if you have played a lot of these games already, I mean, I like reliving nostalgia. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I still play RuneScape, for crying out loud. So if you're into, nostalgia, you want to experience something new because you haven't had the chance yet, this is the best way to do it. Just because they have revamped all the games with better graphics, they look a lot better, and the sound is a lot better, just everything about it. And you also don't have to go pick up an N64 or original Xbox 360. So, Rare Replay Collection, go buy it now if you don't have it and you do have an Xbox One, because I guarantee you'll get your 20 bucks worth in like the first week. I mean, just playing the first two Banjo-Kazooie games is worth the 20 bucks. So, with that, guys, thank you for watching. Like I said, we will be streaming Banjo-Kazooie over on Twitch, because that's normally where I do most of my streaming. I might do a stream or two in the future on YouTube, but I think I'm going to keep YouTube to just videos, and I'm going to keep my streaming just to Twitch. And I actually did recently, like I unboxed in one of my videos, I got one of these Stream Deck things. So we're going to add like a bunch of crazy buttons to here. I've got kind of like an away video, and it's pretty neat. So that is what's going on over on Twitch. And I did actually just start a Patreon because a lot of people were wondering how they could donate to the channel because they want to see it grow. I'll just click on over to it. Of course, you don't have to. It's not a big deal if you don't want to do anything on Patreon. I know it's pretty early in the channel's lifespan to do Patreon, but I had like enough people asking me in DMs or on YouTube comments that they wanted to support the channel. And a lot of people are asking for a podcast, but for a podcast, I need a second mic, and this thing is not cheap. So I do have the goal of when we're going to start doing a monthly podcast, and then when we're going to do a bi-weekly podcast. So if you guys want a podcast, that's kind of another way to kind of speed up the process in that. And yeah, pick up Rare Replay. It's fun. It's awesome. Highly recommend it. And As always, everyone, if you guys like the video, definitely leave a like down below. Subscribe for more content. And as always, have a Fanta-tastic day. See ya. I'm again not drinking beer because this isn't Tales from Retail. I also have to do things today, but I'm addicted to this stuff. Oh my god, these pineapple coconut things. Talking about sponsors, if AMP were to sponsor me, I'd be so happy. Probably wouldn't be good for me though, I'd probably get diabetes.